Julie Marie, your plant-based food coach from plantpurity.com, and I'm excited to bring to you a recipe for fresh bruschetta. You could use this as an appetizer, an hors d'oeuvre, or as a main dish served with a large salad. So what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to put in my food processor a couple tablespoons of fresh organic parsley. If you can find organic parsley, that's wonderful. And about a quarter of an onion. I'm actually going to cut this into a smaller piece. If you're using a food processor, you want to make sure you don't end up with any big chunks. I'm going to put 2 fresh cloves of garlic. I'm going to press these with my garlic press. You could dice these. I love using a garlic press because it keeps my fingers clean. I don't have to mess with peeling the garlic. It does the job for me. And it ensures a really fine dice of garlic in my bruschetta. Some on the side here. Just going to get that in there. And then I'm also going to put about a quarter of a teaspoon of fresh ground pepper. About a half a teaspoon of sea salt. And I'm going to put a tablespoon of dried oregano. And I'm going to blend this just a little bit to get the onions and the parsley and everything processed. And then to that I'm going to add about 3 cups of tomatoes. I have a couple different kinds of tomatoes here. I have some yellow cherry tomatoes, some red grape tomatoes, and I have 2 plum tomatoes. You could also use a can of diced tomatoes and just drain off the liquid if it's the winter time and you don't have fresh tomatoes or you're in an area where you can't get really flavorful fresh tomatoes. Just dicing these up a little bit because I don't want to process these until they're completely liquefied. So I'm going to pulse these so that there still is some tomato texture so that you can tell I used fresh tomatoes in this dish. These into my bowl. These yellow cherry tomatoes give it a beautiful color, but it's not necessary to the taste of the dish. If you just have red tomatoes, that's great. And then to this, I'm going to add some fresh basil. About 3 tablespoons of fresh basil. You can do this up to your discretion, how much you like basil. I love basil and I think this really makes the dish. You must have fresh basil to do this. Let's see, a couple more pieces. And I'm just going to roll this up. They call this a chiffonade when you roll it and you slice it into little ribbons. But do it as you wish. You could chop it. I don't put it in the food processor because I want to see these little ribbons. It makes the dish even that much more beautiful. When you add a fresh ingredient, you definitely want to see it. It gives it that eye appeal. I have one big piece of tomato here that didn't process in my food processor. I'm just going to put that aside. I'll eat that myself. And then you could also add nutritional yeast to this dish. This is found in the aisle at your Whole Foods or at your vitamin store near the supplements by the vitamins. So a lot of you have asked me, where do I find this nutritional yeast? It's by the vitamin section. You could also find it in your bulk bins at Whole Foods. I'm just going to add about 1/4 cup. And this is going to give it a little bit of a cheesy flavor. It'll make it taste really rich. It's got a lot of B vitamins in it. It's a nice thing to add to your bruschetta. And what I used today is I put these in my toaster oven, but you can put them right in the oven as you're preheating your oven. Just keep an eye on it so you don't burn the bread. You could use any bread that you wish. Today I used a really healthy version of bruschetta, and I used Ezekiel bread. And I've spoken about this before, and this is a sprouted whole grain bread. Find it in your freezer section at your health food store at Whole Foods. If you don't have this, pick a nice whole grain bread, preferably. And you could cut these into smaller pieces if you're serving them as appetizers. Should probably use my cutting board here. It would make things way more efficient. And if you're having a party and you're serving this as an appetizer, you could buy like a nice baguette of whole wheat bread, and you could even have the bakery slice it up really nice and thin for you so you don't have to worry about cutting it, and toast that ahead of time. It's going to keep the bread from getting soggy. So if I put this right onto fresh bread, it would get really soggy in the oven. So you're just going to top your bread just like that. It looks so beautiful. All these colors, all these flavors of all these herbs. You gotta give this recipe a try. It's so simple, and it starts off a meal so beautifully. It's like a little tomato herb salad on top of a super healthy whole grain bread. And you can see just this small batch of 3 cups of fresh tomatoes makes quite a bit of bruschetta. So I'm going to put this in the oven at about 450 degrees just to toast this up again. The bread has been toasted, so it's nice and crispy, but we're heating up the bruschetta and it'll brown the edges of the toast really nicely. So I'll be right back with some hot bruschetta for you to see. Okay, I got this hot out of the oven, and I did put it on broil for a few minutes just to brown the top edges of the toast. I toasted these ahead of time so they're nice and crisp. Hot. It smells so good, all the garlic and basil. Oh, you've been waiting. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you make some fresh bruschetta soon. And remember, optimum health will be owned by those who eat an abundance of plants, so eat your fruits and veggies. And if you need any help transitioning to a plant-based diet, low in fat, with no processed oils, let me know. I'm at plantpurity.com. I'm here to help you. Take care. Best of health.